I just wanted to take this opportunity to say hello to all of you. I think SPIDER is of course very happy. We've been supporting IPID since it was started in 2006. And we've always been impressed by the good work done and the many members of the network. And I looked at the program today and I'm really impressed, Edgar. Congratulations for a very good job. And just briefly, Katja, my colleague here, is going to present SPIDER in more detail, but I just wanted to highlight a few things that we are doing that would be of interest to you. One is that we're also sponsoring a master's program in ICT for D at Stockholm University, which is the first of its kind in the world because it's fully online and it's fully open courseware. And it just started this academic year. We are also setting up Swedish senior researchers, I think, feel a little bit jealous of IPID, and they asked us to start a network for senior researchers in Sweden, which will probably extend to alumni from Sweden, because a lot of people in many today established experts in various developing countries actually got their PhDs from Sweden, so we want to include those in the network too. So there will be, and I think this network will be of immediate interest to IPID, and we certainly expect collaboration between the two networks. And since you're all doing research in ICT for D, SPIDER is also trying to contribute to the global knowledge base on ICT for D. Katja will mention soon, she's edited a volume that's coming out this week?
Next week.
Next week, with some results of research that SPIDER supported related to our projects. And that one will be freely available online, of course, in PDF format. But we're also preparing, and they're also going to be published before Christmas, the final results of 8 or 9 of our projects in East Africa. And I think those reports will also be of interest to those of you who are doing research in education on democracy and health in East Africa especially. So that's all I wanted to say. Have a great day.
For those of you who are not very familiar in SPIDER, you're in luck because I'm going to tell you everything you need to know. So SPIDER, which is a cute acronym, it stands for the Swedish Program in ICT for Developing Regions. Let's see if I can manage this. So who we are a resource center in ICT for D, and we're hosted at the Department of Computer and System Sciences at Stockholm University. What does that mean? We're basically administratively a part of Stockholm University, but we're not the same. And we're funded by SIDA, the Swedish International Development Agency. But that's exactly the case. We're funded by them, but we're not the independent entity, and we do our own thing. We don't have that much money. Our annual average turnover is about 15 to 20 million Swedish kroners, and you need to see the translation into euro there. And if you want to read more specifically about what we do, we have a strategy online. Most of our documents and reports are, and guiding documents and annual reports are online. So if you want to know what we're doing more specifically, you can read it online. What we practically focus on is to create connections. As Paula mentioned, we're trying to create connections between practitioners and researchers and policymakers. So we're connected to the university. We have a network of Swedish partner university. There are 9 or 10 by now. Of course, we attend conferences. We have the IPID network, and we're trying to bring all of these different actors together from different fields to work together in ICT for D and make that field stronger and get better results. We have 3 thematic areas: democracy, education, and health. Democracy has, up till now, been our strongest one. We have an ICT for Democracies Africa network that's been very successful. We also have cross-cutting priorities, like things that we really, really like but are not lifted up as high, which is youth empowerment. We try to work a lot with young people. Cultural creativity, which means combining different technologies and creative ways and using appealing media to draw people in. And of course, capacity development is a very strong point, a part of all ICT4D projects. Now the projects, we have a particular form of projects. We give quite a small amount of money called Catalytic seed funding. It's about $70,000 to $80,000 depending on the course, well, 75 more likely. And these are projects that are small, they're innovative, but we focus on a project that can grow. That from the outstart we see, can this be bigger or is this a one-off deal? And some of these projects that we've supported during 2011 have now received upscaling funding from Spider, that we've seen that the results are so strong and there's such a great potential for improving them, increasing them, and developing further, that we've provided further funding. So this system is working, as we've seen. We support ICT4D research, which means that we support research connected to the projects that we support. This is a fairly small grant, but it will allow a Swedish researcher to collaborate with a local researcher in the partner country and do a little bit of research on a project. And what this allows, it allows the researcher to get a feel for the field, right? It allows an opportunity to go down there, maybe spend a couple of weeks to really talk to people and see what's going on. It also allows the practitioners to have an additional brain, basically a person who is trained to look into things, to analyze, to follow up, to collect data. And that's actually, it's those research projects that are a part of, that have contributed to the publication that is on the leaflet. So it's 6 different projects, 6 different teams of researchers that are presenting their findings. And in the instructions for this publication, we kind of told them to do it slightly like academic paper light, so that it will appeal to a broader audience, because we're very keen to reach out to both practitioners and policymakers, and basically a wider field. We also support, give out travel grants. This is only in Swedish universities because it has to do with the way CETA works, it has to do with administrative costs, etc. We do knowledge brokering, and this is an example of it, trying to bring knowledge from one field of ICT4D practice to another one, from researchers to practitioners, from practitioners to researchers and policymakers. I don't know if you're familiar, we have a small series that's called Spider Stories, and that is basically our project partners who, in their own words, have told about their project results. So it's not a kind of your traditional report format, nor is it the format of an academic paper, you know, very high up, very structured, very formal to these 2 disciplines. It's actually basically stories that the practitioners themselves tell. And it could be everything from some dramatic event during the course of the project, or even we've gotten poems. So, which brings an alternative perspective of what's going on, things that you can't tell in the established disciplines of writing about development projects. And of course we do networking of, I'm sorry to say you're one example, but you're a very great example, and we're very happy to collaborate with IPID. We're also starting, as Paula said, a network for senior researchers, because they're missing that. There is no real forum for that in Sweden. So the highlights are, of course, the first one is this, the publication that's coming up probably next week if the printing gods are with us. iMentors, it's an EU project that maps all educational infrastructures, all like educational sort of projects, resource centers, laboratories, etc., in just a big massive mapping of everything in sub-Saharan Africa. And it's actually online. I think the version number 3 just went online recently, but it's been online since last year. Spider Stories, 2012, we also have a 2011 version, and the open course that Paula plugged for. We have had 32 different projects in ICT4D, and those are Catalytic seed funding projects, and 14 are still ongoing and will be going on until the end of next year. We have 3 networks, one in East Africa, that's ICT for Democracy Network, that focuses mainly its work on democracy. They have a very good website, so if you work within that area and you want to find out what's going on, everything is presented on their website. Similarly, we have a network in Cambodia where the projects are mixed. It's health, it's democracy, it's open data. And we just recently started a network for education projects in East Africa and Bolivia. So we work all over the globe. We have Bolivia and Cambodia and Latin America and Asia, and then the rest of our projects are in East Africa. And that is only because those are the countries that our main funder supports. So we're bound by contract, but if we had money, we would work anywhere. So how much, Edgar? How am I on time?
Yes, you're on time. You have 3 minutes.
I have 3 minutes. So basically the way we focus, I'm not going to finish this whole presentation. I didn't know what to focus on, I'm not really familiar. What we focus on when we work with projects, we really try to work close to the grassroots. We always work with local organizations. Even in the few instances when we don't work with a local organization, when we work with an organization based globally or in another country, they always have local implementers. We find it very valuable to go down to the bottom, down to the very grassroots, to the horse's mouth basically, and to find out what do you need, what do you want to do, how do you want to do it, and how can we help. And we really focus on collaboration and networks. And the project networks are a way to deal with this because usually NGOs are not that keen on collaborating. And we're going to try to work with different networks and bring them closer together. So this is just I didn't know how much time we have. I was very optimistic. Continue. Let's go back. I don't know what you're interested in. Maybe it's better to ask questions. Is this a question kind of time?
You can conclude.
I can conclude. Well, basically, you've gotten a very fast rundown of what SPIDER does and what we focus on. So basically, at the ground level, it's ICT4D work and project, and trying to connect different forms of expertise together to make the ICT4D work stronger. Now we have all of the project information of what we do and what we work with is online on our SPIDER website, and the research publications, the results publications that are coming soon will also elucidate some of these projects. So if you have any questions or any ideas, please feel free to contact me. See if I can fast forward. There, that's me.